Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special podcast discussion about New York Comic Con 2018. I'm your host, Richard Billy Jr., and tonight I'm joined by Miss Dana Abercrombie. How's it going, Dana?
I am dead inside.
Uh-oh. Well, we hope that you will be wide awake for this particular show because you got to tell us just how exciting New York Comic Con was.
Yay! Thousands of people, panic attacks on the show floor. It was fun.
Hmm. Yeah, I fully believe that. So before we get into the day by day scenario of what you experienced during the show, can you please enlighten those that may not know what New York Comic Con is? I know there are some people that think this is only a con convention. There may not be other things, but
I
just for those who don't know, let us all know what is New York Comic Con.
I wish it was just a con of a comic, and you would follow the life of people who stole comics because they were a con. That would have been so fun. But no, Comic Con is an event that occurs every year in October where it's basically a massive showcase where studios, movie studios, TV studios, video game studios, artists, um, merchandiser people, booksellers come together in a building known as Jacob Javits in New York City and just show all their products off. And you can sit through special panels where they'll have anything obscure as like LGBTQ plus in comics to Marvel's The Gifted. And you'll have interviews that'll go on stage. You can buy a whole bunch of merchandise, comic books included, but anywhere from books to glasses to Donald Trump hair is what they will sell at the I'm not even joking. There's like wigs everywhere that was flying around. Um, but mainly the main attraction is that remember back in the day, we still had San Diego Comic Con, and you know how they would just have all the big movies and then they would have their big panels come out and they would show their big trailers and their big clips of whatever was releasing that year or later in the year or even next year. They
Yeah.
just kind of took that concept because it originally was just comic books where they would just have you in a basement with you comic books and like some anime products and you would just sit in the basement and go, "Yay, I'm gonna go buy my comics now." But now it's become this huge mass market, and media has just flocked there. So now they've taken all those big studio names like Marvel, like DC, Sony, any big name that you can think of, and they'll have panel discussions. They'll show actual clips from TV shows or movies. They'll show full blown movies. And so this year, along with last year as well, it's gotten so big, like thousands, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people to the point where it's like you can't move like 2 feet will take you an hour just to get to the other side. That's just how many people is there. And no one wears deodorant, so you're dying. Asthma attacks are happening. But basically, they moved it to three events, three places. They have some more off site stuff, but it takes place at Jacob Javits, Madison Square Garden, and the Manhattan Center, which they wrongfully named Hammerstein Ballroom, but they changed the name to that. And they'll just hold events and panels and screenings, and actors will come there. And they're famous actors. I met you, Robert Rodriguez, for example. Guillermo del Toro was down there. Mila Jovovich, all big name people, and like even big time artists like Frank Miller. They'll just be there.
That sounds awesome. So in many ways, it sounds similar to E3. With it definitely has the what they do have in common is that people do not shower.
No,
There's too many people. And I know last year at E3 when we had the public, that was just one of the worst handled shows that I have ever attended. Because they would just that was the first year they decided to have the public. I mean, I'm saying, listen, so that those don't come after trying to attack me. it's totally fine to have the public at these events, but they just have to have it in a way in which it is accommodating to everybody. But New York Comic Con sounds awesome. I was unable to make it this year, but I definitely want to attend next year. So, but yeah, that sounds awesome.
It's awesome. Minus the smells that will just radiate throughout the and like the bag checks will take forever, and you have to like almost strip naked just to make sure you get in. It's a mess.
Oh no, that's too
The
much.
security guard stole my phone charger, by the way. Like, how pathetic are you to steal a $15 phone charger?
Oh man, I guess the times must be hard. You know,
It really must be hard at the Javits Center when you're stealing $15 phone chargers. Jeez Louise.
you better make sure you remember that guy so that if when you go back next year, if he's still there.
If he's still there, I'll make sure. Oh, look, there goes the thief. What are you going to steal this year? A $2, I don't know, plastic ring? Some water from the fountain? What's going on?
See, that's crazy. Well, I will say very very briefly in regards to Comic Cons. I know Gary has told me that he will be going to London Comic Con.
He's going to London.
Yeah, so that that should be interesting. So I'll be curious to hear how that is different from New York Comic Con. But everybody I know has been talking about New York Comic Con. There's a couple people that I do know that did attend this show. A couple people that I saw were actually creating costumes and decided to go there and cosplay. So
cosplays are so beautiful. They're breathtaking. People spend so much. We had like a 10-foot tall bumblebee.
Whoa.
It was amazing. And we had a lot of Groots, and they were like massive Groots. We've had dinosaurs one time. Like, people like fully go out with their cosplays. And every year, of course, there's like the convention of Spider-Man, where everyone comes in dressed as Spider-Man and Deadpool.
Ah, yes.
It's really cool.
So I know that this was a big year for Spider-Man, as always, but especially this year, because
it's like double the Spider-Man. It's all worth it.
Yeah, I definitely will have to attend. I got to make it a mandatory attendance next year. One show will have to be missed, but I will make sure that it's not New York Comic Con. So
it's better than San Diego. Shots fired.
Uh-oh, ouch, that hurts.
Ouch, and it's like 3 times as many people.
3 times as many people at New York Comic Con.
At New York Comic Con, so it's getting up there. It's a bit crazy. Because
Wow.
back in my day, when I like started going, it got to the point where like Thursdays was just press day. And like, you would do whatever you have to do with the press, and you would be on the show floor, and you could actually walk through everything. You can see everything. It was really nice. When you would go into panels, you just walk in. Now you have to have wristbands and scan your badges and strip searches, and you got to get there like 6 hours in advance. It's a mess.
That is very similar to E3. You definitely got to have that. And I know they did start the bag checks this year also, which I think they needed to have that for security reasons. But yeah, I understand the struggle with those appointments, all that stuff. So, but I definitely will make it a point to go next year. So now I'm going to pass the floor over to you and ask you about the experience. So how about you run us through what happened on the first day of New York Comic Con?
So my day actually started on Wednesday, even though it technically starts on Thursday. Mine started on Wednesday, which always does every year because of Square Enix. They had a couple of games that they showed. I can't go into great detail because my goal in life is not to like be banned from anything. My goal, like, I don't want to like work really hard and then like, oh, you're banned. I came to in tears one time when I thought that happened, but this year was really fun. They have a new, I can say that because there's like a trailer. Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb has a new DLC that's coming out November 13th. It's called The Forge. And here's the thing. If you love puzzles and figuring things out with like no help at all, you will be the most excited person ever. For us dumb folks like me, who like will take an hour just to figure out a simple thing, you will struggle and suffer. Now, the thing is that it's co-op, which, you have to play with someone and you have to like try to double your intelligence. And it's all about working together to solve these random challenges in order to escape or explore some of the tombs that they have down there. And you'll get new weapons and there's outfits and skills and there's side missions to the game, and it's really good, like I said before, if you're not dumb. But if you want to like test out your skills, and like, it's a good thinking man's DLC. So
I see what
you
you mean.
start off, you're in the forest. There's different levels. I so there's different parts of which I played, and they're really well done. They're really beautiful. The game itself looks really beautiful, as we said before. And it really expands upon that. You're really stuck in this jungle and you have to go through all these different tombs, and you got to figure out how to open them, and you have to work together with someone to find out, which puzzle is which and how that goes. And that's pretty much all I can say legally. So it's really great. So
One quick question I do want to ask, and hopefully this is not breaking any embargoes, because you did say it is co-op. So
yes,
is it Laura and Jonah? Is Jonah the other character, or is it just did they not have another character that you're actually playing with?
they have another character that you're playing with.
But it's probably not Jonah. Then it's another character.
I can't say.
Ah, okay,
But I
okay.
can say that you're playing with with another character, and it's basically they have like something called endurance mode, which is
Hmm.
pretty much to see how long you can last playing this game before you just smash your TV through the window.
Okay,
So it's a really great thinking man's game, and I really did enjoy it very much.
that's
So
cool. That's cool.
that's really cool there. Another thing that I was able to do was there's the game Okay, I keep pronouncing this wrong. It's called Remedy, Remedy. It's Remedy by
You talk.
505 Games.
Oh, you're talking about Control.
Control by
Yes. Hmm.
505. So yes, Control. I was able to see a little bit more of what you guys saw. I can't tell you what I've seen, but I did interview the actress and the developer. So,
Sam Lake.
huh? Yes, Sam Lake and
Yes.
Courtney Whatchamaface. I'm joking. Yeah, no, I did interview Sam Lake and the actress that plays the main woman, which is, the person who you will be controlling.
Yeah,
And
the
it is
lead
a
protagonist.
very good, beautiful. It's a very beautiful game, is what I could say.
I will say this: the presentation that I saw, and I actually I believe Tony and I were the only ones that were able to see it at E3, because Max had an appointment, but he missed that appointment. But yeah, for what I saw, the game looked fantastic. I mean, to me, it looked like Quantum Break, and that was before they even announced, oh yeah, this is a Remedy game. But I have no issues with it at all because it looked fantastic. So
Yes,
definitely looking forward to checking it out. But
yes. It's absolutely. Courtney Hope, not Courtney Whatchamaface. Courtney Hope, who was in Quantum Break, also in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Um,
oh, okay.
he is the lead character. What I can say is this: Get a lot of stuff is embargoed, but I was able to get this out of him. It takes place in New York City because New York City is wonderful and fabulous and very slick and stylish. It's a very stylish looking game. It's also heavily based on like science fiction and sci-fi, well, which is science fiction. So yeah, so sci-fi and supernatural, and there are going to be different characters with different abilities,
Hmm.
and it all takes place in this one building, and each floor has something that's very different to it, and it's this government agency that is trying to find you and take you away.
Yeah.
And it's inspired by a lot of like old science fiction and what they did with Max Payne and what they did with Quantum Break. So it's, if you like those two games, you will definitely love um the control game that'll come out next year. They're still developing it, they're still working on it, and it was really, really wonderful.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, I know it looked great at E3, so I'm glad to know that it's coming next year for sure. Um, yeah, that sounds fantastic. So, what else did you was that all that you saw, got a chance to see and play on day one? Well, we'll call it day zero, since
Yeah.
this is before the show started.
So that was one thing that I also, so that was very beautiful. I was able to talk with them, and I really like that part. It's very mysterious. It's like an old mystery. So if you like those type of games, I definitely recommend that you play that.
Absolutely.
Also, which is kind of really weird, but was really ended up being the game that I liked the most, just because of how much fun it was and the fact that you can actually die in real life, which I know is the wrong thing to say. But I'm serious. It's a terrible thing to say, but it's true. So it was because AMC's The Walking Dead, Our World. So what they did is they took the Walking Dead concept, which, with the zombies coming after you,
Mhm.
and you have to run and escape and have like shoot them in the head with your shotgun. What they did is they put it into this location based augmented reality. It's a mobile game. So basically, Pokemon Go, where you have to physically go outside,
Yeah.
and it has that augmented reality. So say if you're standing in Times Square, it'll look like Times Square, and you have to run around and find the Pokemon. Well, with this is you hold up your phone and it'll capture whatever it is that you do. I don't know the technical terms for things because I failed computer science. So it'll capture your surroundings and it'll have the zombies on your phone um, chase after you, and you have to move. Physically get up and start moving and running away from the zombies as you shoot them in the head.
Wow.
So it's you having to get up, and you can. This is what I was saying, that it's kind of dangerous, is that you start running because these zombies are chasing you, even though it's on the game, and you can very much end up running into someone or running into traffic. No, it's like one of those games that'll get you really excited and your adrenaline starts pumping up because like all the zombies are coming after you and you're like running like, oh no. So you take off and you're like trying to tap on the screen to shoot them, and they'll look, and the environment looks exactly like your environment on the phone.
Mhm.
So, it was really, really fun, but it's also really, really dangerous. So
Yeah, I think I've heard of some people that they was a little, they had a little, some of those issues with the Pokemon game too, with the that it can be dangerous if you don't pay attention. But in this case,
in this case, it's
cause,
more. If you want to live hard and fast,
and,
you
and
gotta play
and
the Walking Dead Outworld.
yeah, yes, and let's hope that people do not really metaphorically learn in real life, or we're going to experience the Walking Dead for real. Definitely don't walk out in the middle of the street and get hit by a car, because you ain't coming back from that, depending on how hard you get hit. So that won't be good.
That's true.
But
Yeah, yeah. So also one of the things, to swing back to Square Enix, I was able to play Just Cause 4.
yes, okay. So I'm interested in this for sure, because I know this is coming out in December.
It's one of those games where you literally, when you want to play, when you like just had a bad day and you want to just like strangle someone and you can't in real life. So you go play Just Cause because you can just blow up anything, and like it has you like launching, I don't know, lamb in the air with like these helium balloons or blowing up tankers. It's one of those games that make absolutely no sense. Like one of the levels, I was chasing a tornado. So it literally looked like the TV show Storm Chasers, where I'm in my van trying to chase this tornado and also blow up these wind tunnels, these like wind things, wind tunnels. And then you find the most creative and random ways to just blow up stuff. And the weird thing is that you just don't die. No matter how crazy your stunt that you're trying to do, you just don't die. So you're always just found in these new random predicaments, and the environment is just really fun, and it makes no sense all at the same time. Where you get so lost in the game where you're like, is there a mission? Is this an actual, what's the main goal of the game? So it was what I played. It wasn't that long, and it was less tedious than Shadow Tomb Raider DLC.
Hmm.
So I strongly recommend Just Cause 4.
Yeah, it looks like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's random cows will come, and you could just send them away with balloons and rocket launchers. You could take over a helicopter, fly terribly, you
Yeah,
know. So yeah, it's just one of those games that literally make no sense at all, but it's just all kinds of fun.
that this yeah that I know that game is coming out in December, so definitely something to look forward to for those. Well, that is depending if people will still be have time to play it, because there's a ton of stuff coming out this month.
Well,
So
this is why should always have time to play it, because you're always going to find yourself where you want to just choke someone. You can't do that in real life. So you have to relieve that stress somehow.
this is true.
And by doing that, you should just play Just Cause 4. It's literally one of the best sandbox games ever. It just really is just ridiculous. And you have a main goal, which is you have to take down what is it, Gabriela Morales and the Black Hand,
Hmm.
right? So you got to do that. That's your main goal. But it's so ridiculous that you kind of end up forgetting the main goal. And it does copy a lot of stuff from the previous Just Cause 3 games, such as the tethering. But it's such a good feature that it allows you to attach balloons to any object, and you could just pull everything up in the air. So tankers, helicopters, even though that's just crazy because you know it's flying anyway.
Yeah,
But you can attach it to animals or whatever it is that you want. It's very the thing is that I get an overall Grand Theft Auto vibe. So to basically, what's that word? To in anticipation of Just Cause 4's release date, to hold you over, you can play Grand Theft Auto, and then this one is just a wee bit crazier.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Well,
And it
hey,
has really great like I was explaining, there's dynamic weather stuff in there, and like I was explaining, I was trying to chase down this tornado, and it's just really great. You also have to go through thunderstorms, which will affect how your parachute and your wingsuit
mm.
will react. You can easily be struck by lightning just randomly, and it literally makes no sense at all. There was the four wind cannons that you have to destroy, and it gets really really messy. And it's just one of those things where you just have to keep blowing them up, and there's weird ways of how you can blow them up. And it's one of those games again, if you could just literally do whatever you want. It's just that much fun.
Mm.
So I strongly recommend it also. And you have really great weapons now. So that's
Gotcha.
my game. That, and oddly the mobile AMC Walking Dead game. Just don't die while playing it.
Make sure that you stay safe.
And yeah, stay safe. Make sure you look in the street with what you're doing, and it works. It really does. It really works. Also, one of the other games that I was able to play was the Lego DC Supervillains.
Oh yes, that actually is coming out next week.
That is I love Lego games, except for their Harry Potter stuff. I just never was into. But other than that, it's so good. You basically, it takes all of the villains, right? All of the villains from the DC. It is over 200 characters, and you can create your own custom made character. You can say if you want the powers of the Hulk, or you want the powers of the Hulk is not DC. Sorry. Batman or Superman or Catwoman man. You can literally just create all the different powers from whatever villain that was out there, and you could just customize it and make him your own character. And you're working with the villains in order to stop the even more villainers. So it's weird because it's kind of like, even though you're a villain, you're still trying to save the day. So does that technically make you a hero even though you're a villain? But they have 4 different locations, which is really great. They have the obviously Gotham, they have Metropolis, they have Smallville, which like was so adorable, except for the fact that it's really weird because Smallville, it takes place in Kansas in real life, but in the game there are plenty of mountains. There's mountains in Kansas, which is like, oh, okay. So it's unique that way. We're just throw mountains in Kansas. Those who don't know, Kansas is a very open field. It's like there's nothing but rolling hills and grass and some hay, maybe some sheep. So it's just really great. I love it so much. So I was able to see some of the characters. I can't announce the characters, and I can't remember all 200 characters, so it works out either way. It's a lot of characters. But it is Marvel. The thing with Lego games is that no matter if it's Marvel or DC or Harry Potter, even though I never liked it, they're always fun. And this is just really fun. And I loved everything about it.
That's cool.
So that was one of the things. So Thursday, that was Wednesday. Wait, and the end of Wednesday, you ready for this?
Yeah.
DC Titans.
Oh yeah, DC Titans. Yes.
Titans. What can I? Oh, sorry. They had 2 episodes that they screened. The first episode is literally garbage juice.
Whoa.
No. Hear me out though. It takes place. Everything's from Robin's perspective. Robin wants to get out of the shadows of Batman, which is like really good. Like I'm with that. So it takes place in they move it far away from Gotham. It's really light. It's pretty. He works as a police officer. He's a detective, and I'm like, okay, we're a detective at 20 because that makes sense. Totally relatable. Not just like a regular cop. You're a detective.
Well,
like okay. So he's doing that. The other storyline is Raven. She is a girl with these unexplained superpowers, and she's kind of treated like a witch of sorts. And there's this mysterious man. I'm pretty sure you guys all seen in the trailer. But there's this mysterious man who wants to basically kidnap her so that he can take her to an organization, and nothing is going to stop in his way. And in the process, he ends up killing her family member, which we all find out is not a family member at all. And so her life forever changes, and she's on the run, and she ends up running into Robin, who at the time is not Robin, but his actual regular persona as a detective. And it's this weird thing where he starts taking her under his wing, not Nightwing, but Robin's wing. Also, sorry, it also follows Starfire, which I was able to meet the actress and interview her.
Mm-hmm.
She is extremely beautiful, and the way that they have her made is just. She looks like a contestant from Flavor of Love. Party City wig and like the sad costume that just doesn't fit properly. And I don't know what they had going on, but she just did not look right. It was just bad. It was really, I know a lot of people talk about the wigs from Inhuman.
Yeah.
Remember when they was talking about what was the redhead? I can't even. That's how bad it was. I can't even remember anyone's names. Medusa, not Medusa. Was it Medusa?
This was what, another DC show that.
Remember Inhumans? Titans from Marvel?
Oh, I avoided that show since you and several other people said that show was just complete garbage.
That
So
show was garbage. That show was literally bad. That show was just awful. But yeah, it was Medusa, and she had like this really great red hair that just somehow just did not work. It was a terrible wig. The CGI was awful. It's literally they learned nothing from Marvel, and so they was like, let's make a really bad wig for Starfire. And Starfire is this woman who wakes up. She doesn't have any memories of anything, and she seems to be an assassin. She speaks German. She doesn't know how she speaks German. And her life is just basically a mess and she's on the run. And she has these amazing powers, but she doesn't remember how she got them. And so it just shows all these different characters. So it's Starfire, it's Raven, it's Robin. Also, there's going to be Beast Boy is in it. And, he changes into whatever he wants to, any type of beast that he wants. He seems to be a little bit more annoying. But for me, the first episode was really bad. It was trying to establish all these characters. I felt that they was trying to establish all these characters at once
yep,
without giving them enough breathing room.
that sounds familiar. I know that they've done that with some of the DC movies as well.
Right? They also did that with Runaways, which was garbage juice. We're getting a second season because, that makes sense. But here's the weird thing with DC Titans. Here's why you don't judge a TV show by its first episode. The second episode improves. It improves so much that I'm looking forward to the third episode. Now, I'm not ever going to purchase DC Universe with their streaming services, but I'm curious as to what happens in the third episode. Like, once that DVD drops, I'm right there.
Oh, I see.
I'm day one with that DVD. I'll keep up with it.
So okay, oh yeah, I see what you mean. So I actually wanted to ask two quick questions about that. The first question was going to be, so would you say that this particular show was more gritty? Because if I recall correctly, that trailer that I saw is when Robin said "F Batman" or something like that. So is this show?
All makes sense when you watch the series.
Okay.
Sense as to why he's so like screw Batman. He's living under the guy's shadow and he wants to break free. But every time something pops off, it's like, oh, Batman.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
It's like Batman, and he's like, no, I'm trying to be me. That would be the equivalent of Bruce Wayne wanting to step away from the Thomas Wayne family.
Yeah.
And be his own person.
That's interesting.
When you have to live up to the pressures of being a Thomas Wayne and being extremely successful. So he's trying to break away from the shadows of Batman. And it's very literal of how they show him trying to break away from the shadows of Batman. There's a shadow of Batman. It's a very literal show.
Interesting. Okay, my other question is, so you said this show is going to be on the streaming service. When is this supposed to debut, or has it already debuted?
The 12th of this month.
So this week then. It's going to be out in a couple of days.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
So it'll air. So everyone will either be frustrated or love it, but it'll air on the 12th. One of the things that I was kind of more excited for is that we're getting an adult animated Harley Quinn. And if you've seen the previews, Batman's cursing in that one. They're just letting everything fly. I don't know how much they'll get into it with any type of scenes, because when you watch, you remember the DC movies with Harley Quinn, she was getting it on.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if we'll see that in the show, but she, Batman was letting it all hang out there. That was really fun. So I'm all for that.
Oh yeah, it sounds interesting. So basically that whole when it debuts on the 12th, is it the whole season, or is it just they're going to be releasing episodes periodically every other week?
I believe that it's going to be every other week.
Okay. So it's not like Netflix where they just release the whole season at once.
No, and remember, Netflix kind of got really janky where they was holding back some of their, like if you was to watch some of their shows, not everything is all at once.
I see.
They've been getting a
Well,
little janky.
I will just say this. Um, I hope that this DC show was good, because literally a week after this show debuts, oh, everybody will be talking about the competitor's other show, because that's when that show will be on Netflix. And you know what show I'm talking about?
I kind of don't.
I'm talking about Daredevil.
Oh gosh, can we all fart? Yeah, yeah. What can I say? I can say this. Overall, they know what they're doing with the Daredevil.
Yeah, that's all we can say for now.
That's
But
all we can say. I'll
we'll
throw some
definitely,
whatever it is. I'm sure it's poetic. That's all I can say. It's very poetic.
absolutely.
Maybe some tears were flying around. So yeah, I can say that. Tears and poetry.
Yes, that sounds good.
That sounds
Absolutely.
good. Tears and poetry. But yeah, no, but this is what kind of surprised me about DC Titans, was that I thought it was going to be trash all the way. Because remember, this was written years ago. They had this
Ah,
years ago. And what they was trying to do, this actually started in 2014, where they was trying to get it sold to TNT. They had remember how Doom Patrol and all of the other DC universe titles, they was trying to get over to TNT. But what happened was, Avaka Goldsman, his script was so bad that TNT said they won't even air it. So Goldsman and Mark Hames wrote the script. They wrote the pilot, and it was supposed to go in December, but it never happened because TNT was like, "This is garbage," and TNT of all people, that airs reruns of Charmed,
yeah.
won't even air it. Like, I don't Charmed, which we'll get into later on, but
Yeah.
they refused to even air it. They said that it was so poorly written that it was just bad. So TNT was technically supposed to be the DC Universe network. You know how the CW is like DC for all their TV shows?
Yeah.
It was also supposed to be TNT.
Wow.
So they missed out all of that just because of how bad it was.
That's crazy.
Yes. So, yeah. But
Well,
also, what I can announce today, because it was announced today, ready? DC Titans is renewed for a second season.
oh, so they've already gone ahead and renewed it, even though, because well, I guess they must be confident that the
Yes.
people are going to really jump on the show.
Because the whatchamacallits, the reviews that already came out were very positive. And you have your own streaming network service, so you can do whatever the heck you want.
Oh yeah,
We
okay,
all know
that's true.
WWE network. You can do whatever you want.
Absolutely, this is true. That's good. So I definitely have to check out this show. You said it will be out on the 12th. I also will say that I do not plan on purchasing this DC Universe service, so I will have to, find another way to watch the show. Maybe a friend of mine's will pick up the service, and we'll see, But I'm not going to talk about that, because I'm not going to talk about anything on this particular show that may, paint me in a negative light. I support everything. Yes,
we support everything, and also those who are overseas, especially the UK, they will get the DC Titans on Netflix.
Oh, so I can definitely expect that Gary will have some complaints about this show on a future podcast. Now,
Yo, man, I can't stand it. Why they gotta do Beast Boy that way? Why is he killing people? Beast Boy actually did kill a security guard for some video games. He did.
Yep.
That's like not me making it up. He killed people for video games. Yeah. Yeah, but It works. It somehow works. I ain't even mad. Yay, Dick Grayson.
Yes.
So
All
that
right.
was, yeah.
I
So
have to check
another
that
thing
out.
that I saw, which was weird as all can be, it was Constantine, City of Demons.
Oh yeah, I actually do remember the other show, the original show that used to come on.
No, this is an animated movie,
Oh,
not the movie Constantine with Keanu,
or
not the
or the
TV
show.
show
Yeah,
with the blonde guy.
yeah.
He's now on Legends of Tomorrow, but he also did voice this. It is Constantine living his best life, and his friend of childhood friend asks him to save his daughter's life, who his soul, the child's soul was kidnapped by a demon. So he has to face another demon in order to save the child's soul because she's in a coma. The thing about this movie is that it's extremely weird and it's not meant for children. There are orgies. There is a body fluid swimming pool. There are weird satanic sex scenes with a demon. There's a scene where bats
So
fly out of someone's behind.
so some of this sounds like American Horror Story. So I think I would definitely like to watch
It's
this.
American Horror Story in cartoon form. But the thing is also like, oh, this is really crazy. The thing about this movie is that it's very grounded and it is the most saddest movie I have watched. Like I left there just feeling really depressed. I can't say why.
Hmm,
Because the ending is just that powerful where it's like how much are you willing to sacrifice in order to save someone?
hmm.
And it is the saddest ending where it was like, wow, this is yeah, it'll change your whole mood.
So when
Depressing,
when
beautiful.
when is this out?
It's out now.
Oh, okay.
It's on DVD. So
And
that is out now.
yeah,
So
I may have to check it out, but I will definitely be cautious of the you know.
it's not for children.
Well, no, it's perfect for me because I will I do like to watch this stuff
Like
where
watch
it's
orgies.
well no no not that not that
Oh, the
I do
satanic
like
thing.
I don't mind watching mature rated content, you know.
Some orgies. Look at him getting excited. Orgies.
Oh no I definitely want to see though why you said it's a depressing ending, so yeah, I
It's
want to
just
see.
really sad. Yeah, it's really sad. Also, I was able to interview the creators and the cast of Mars. It's a TV show that is on Nat Geo. It is about these group of people who decide that they're going to colonize Mars and what
Hmm.
it's like to live on Mars. It's very science based, also thrown in with fiction, and they blend it in really well. So that is a good show. That's on season 2. Um, on
Actually,
mhm.
just to throw this in, and you can continue. Just to play off the same theme of you said National Geographic. I did notice today that actually you reviewed Science Fair. That movie is here now, so I may go check that out to see what that's all about. Because I know you actually interviewed some of the scientists, but then you also wrote a review for it. So
The
yeah.
great movie, by the way. It's a documentary about a group of high schoolers who have to enter the science fair. But it's not like, oh, I'm going to make a rock volcano. It's not that type of science fair. These are like kids who are out there trying to kill or cure malaria and the Zika virus and
Hmm.
build airplanes out of glue and cure cancer and find out lead poisoning levels. It's like kids that's just beyond smart.
Oh
And
yeah.
it was very intimidating to interview them because I was like, I know ABC. That's literally what all I knew. Yeah, it was. You want to know how dumb I am? Please watch the interviews. His
Yes.
eye is slow.
No. I thought the interviews came out excellent. So I'll give a shout out to National Geographic. They did some excellent camera work.
Yes, shout out to National Geographic, and there's more stuff from them. And then they're not like really science based. Like they have really great science programs, but they're really getting more modernized and they're having a lot of what would you call it, dramas, and also a lot of like comedic shows, but it's all based in science. There's a show that comes out in 2019 that's about the internet wars and the creation of the computer and the whole fight between Apple and Microsoft.
Oh, I definitely want to see that one.
Crazy. And it's a rap battle. There's an actual rap battle to explain their hatred for each other.
I think Gary would like that one since he's into that smack URL stuff. That's
Gary would love it.
That's so awesome.
This is like the wrap on Thursday and Wednesday.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. So you said so that pretty much covered Wednesday and
Thursday.
Okay. Cool. So now so what happened on Friday?
Friday was fun and awful all at the same time. I was able to see Marvel's Runaway season 2. The problem is I really hated this show, so I wasn't as like excited as last year. Last year I was like, yes, this is gonna be amazing. And the pilot episode for me was like, this is amazing. The show ended up being, for me, it was trash. It was one of the shows where like literally nothing happened. And it was like, oh, my parents are witches and here's some voodoo. And we're gonna like suck the souls out of people so that we can feed the souls to this 1,000-year-old alien. And the girl glows in the corner. And another one, Molly, she's like 12 years old in the books, but we're gonna age her up to 15, but we're gonna still keep her mentally stunted at like 12 so she could just be annoying throughout the whole show. Now in season 2, they discovered what their parents really are, which are just this evil group of people who kill children in order to suck the soul out of them so that they can feed it to the 1,000-year-old alien. There's more stuff that happens, but it was so boring, I just don't recall. But in season 2, they're on the run. So they're finally, ready, drum roll, the Runaways. So
I got you.
To actually run away, and they ran away with their dinosaur because dinosaurs. Yeah. So now they ran away, and they're trying to. I'm trying not to spoil it for those few people who are fans of this god awful show. Stop laughing. I'm trying to be serious here. They're trying to survive without their parents and to make it on their own. And at the same time, their parents are like, well, our kids found out who we really are, so let's just go full evil on them.
Oh.
So it has potential. I will say this. I have been hurt before in the past, thinking that a show had potential, but it can surprise me. Remember, like DC Titans really surprised me. I don't know if this show will surprise me, but I will say that it's still awful, but you might enjoy it more than the first season.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And there's a dinosaur. If you love dinosaurs, you got a freaking dinosaur and an actress who acts like a 12-year-old who's really annoying. So, and she has strength, and it's just written really poorly. I'm sorry, but it's written rather poorly. It's badly written.
So let's hope for Marvel's sake that there will not be a lot of people running away with disgust and deciding not to watch this show.
I'll watch the first season. So if you consider the first season, then that means you're already a fan of the second season. I'll stick with you. A lot of people I knew, they saw that pilot and was like, oh, Lord jeez. They ran away. They would have run away. The dialogue alone made me run away. I was just staying on because I was waiting for something to happen, and nothing happened. And at the end, something happened, and they was like, oh, we're going to run away, and here's our dinosaur. Let's go chill out in the park. Okay. And don't read the book. I read the novelization of Runaways, and I literally thought I was like dead. And then I went to hell. And this was my punishment. Sorry. So do you, boo. If you like Marvel Runaways, then let it run away all on you. So sorry. So one of the other things that I was able to see was Dragon Ball Super Broly. Here's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to give you some, and this is not a spoiler since basically they admitted all of this when I interviewed them. there's a level of fandom behind the Dragon Ball series that I didn't quite understand. I'm going to like full disclosure, I didn't understand it. I really did not have any experience with Dragon Ball just because I didn't get it. I didn't understand why this was like the show that was like a massive fandom. I didn't get it at all. And even though I hang around like a bunch of people who are like, oh my god, Dragon Ball, I just was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, Gary is a huge fan of.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
But I was like the complete opposite of like, I know what in spirit, I know what a Goku is. I don't know what he looked like, but I know what a Goku is. I know what a Vegeta is, but I don't know what what he looks like and his powers and anything else. So I went to this Broly panel because they asked me to interview the cast. Now this is what this. Now, I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, why would you go and interview the cast if you don't know what it is that you're gonna interview about? It was literally the best interview, second best, because this is one that like surpassed everything that I ever did my entire life. That it was like praising Black Jesus and saying, "Thank you, Lord, for allowing me to live." But this one here, there is the movie that's coming out in January called the Dragon Ball Super Broly, and they did the panel and they discussed what the movie is going to be, and they showed the trailer both in Japanese and both in American in English, sorry, and what it's going to be, or what it's assumed to be, because I'll explain into that later, is an origin story. So we get to see Goku and Vegeta and everyone else as babies and how their life was back then. I was able to interview the panel, and I was able to interview, that means the entire cast, all the way from the guy who plays Broly to Vegeta to Goku to uh, the wife and everyone in between, the executive producers, the screenwriters, and we had this really great conversation. And by the time that I left this conversation, I went home, even though I was dead, and binged as many episodes as I can. I know there's like 83 episodes in one season, and people told me to watch it abridged. But I was like, no, I'm going to be a rebel. And I watched like maybe 4 of the 83 episodes. And this was like, this show is amazing. And it may also make me really hungry. This show is just completely amazing, and I love it. Now I understand the fandom behind it. And one of the very interesting things that they said during this interview, because they had the panel and everyone was excited, and it kind of made you look like you knew exactly what was going on and what was going to happen with this movie, and you felt confident. I interviewed the cast. One, the guy who plays Brawley has like this really, I don't know how to explain it, but he seems to be very upset as to what happened to his character, and that he felt that over the years he was downgraded, and that he's really excited to have basically his own movie. Even though, as I learned later, that his character was never really downgraded. He was just a villain and wasn't given that many episodes. But he's very angry about how that transpired. Also, very interesting, they don't have a script. So all that they filmed, all that they animated was just the trailer. I don't know what they told you guys in the panel, because y'all guys were really excited and really happy. But I have it on tape, on interview. They don't have a script. They don't really have a plot. My interview was literally, what do you hope happens to your character? And it was like imaginative scenarios of what they hope happens with Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Wow.
But during that time period, I was able to like really get down and ask them, what attracted you to this role and why would you pick this, and all of the difficulties that they have to deal with, like the translation, because remember it's from Japan. So everything about how the storylines progress, and I really was able to get into like these really deep and wonderful conversations with them. But still, the takeaway is they don't have a script, and the movie comes out in January. So they're busting their behinds, I guess, writing a script because no one knew what the plot was, figuring out a plot, and animating everything. So that was like the weirdest panel, because it was a really good panel. And then as you figured out what was going on behind the scenes, it was like, oh really? So yeah, that's what happened with that. So that was Dragon Ball. For those who are fans, Dragon Ball with no script. One of the another one that was American Gods.
Yeah. Yep.
I
Yes.
got Ian Shane. I got Mr. Neil Gaiman.
Mm.
And a lot of things were cleared up with, Mr. Neil Gaiman and I. Originally, because those who don't know, there were rumors. He's saying they're rumors, and he's saying that they're evil rumors. That just like Super Broly, they didn't have a script. And it was over 6 weeks they were behind in shooting because the scripts that they were writing was so bad that stars wouldn't give them the green light.
Mm.
And this is a network that puts out Power.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
So their script was that bad that Powers was able to be greenlit, but not American Gods. And also, all of the writers and the creators and the producers left the series because they were so frustrated and things were falling apart behind the scenes. Neil Gaiman wants everyone to know this is all fake news. That is not the truth. They have been filming, they have plots, they have twists, they have scripts, they have been greenlit. They showed a trailer for the second season. They said it's going to be even crazier than before. And they want everyone to know that everything is on schedule and it is be perfectly fine and to not worry about the show.
But so 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a figure.
Yeah. And that everything, don't worry about it. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. Also, there's a upcoming show on Sci-Fi. Sci-Fi has a lot of great shows coming up called The Boys. The Boys is basically, we live in a world of superheroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every day they're making news, and every day they're stopping crime and being whatever, saving the day. And there's this group of people that just they can't stand them. They get all the attention, they get all of the glory, and they are basically very angry. It is a spot on live action recreation of the comic by the same name, The Boys. It's they just announced that Simon Pegg will be involved in it. So yay, Simon Pegg.
That's
Yay.
cool.
So Simon Pegg will be involved. People are very excited. It's an anti superhero show. Is like the best way to describe it. And it looks really, really fun.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's and it looks they did it like almost shot by shot of the panels. I mean, it's really good and it's like a gritty, dark show. So it's really gritty. And they view superheroes are now like entitled and they're spoiled. You know how you can get away with anything now just because you have powers?
Oh yeah.
They're viewed as being like really corrupt. Like you start out wanting to be like a superhero because you want to save the day, and then by the time that you're really famous, you just become like obsessed with the fame and you don't care about the basic morals anymore. So that's what it's kind of about. And it's really good. So I would definitely recommend that you guys go out and watch it in 2019. It'll be on Amazon, not Sci-Fi. Amazon.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Amazon.
So he's gonna play, and Simon Pegg is gonna play one of the dads, and it's gonna just be amazing. So I definitely recommend that. Guillermo was there to actually talk about a sci-fi show called Night Flyers. It's his horror, not Guillermo. Yep, no, this is by George R. R. Martin. So we're never getting the end of the Game of Thrones books. He's gonna just do the show called Night Flyers, and that will air on Sci-Fi. I did not meet him, which was like a real big bummer because I wanted to be like, where's the rest of the book? But he was not there. But basically, it's a horror. It's like a horror show, and it's literally I can compare it to say The Shining in space. It's literally The Shining. And it's about this team of scientists who go out in space and strange things start happening. And things are not looking really great for them. And it's kind of feels like it's this supernatural presence that's on the spaceship.
Hmm.
So that's kind of all that I can reveal.
For now.
So, but it looks really good. It's really bloody. Nothing makes sense. It would be the what was it? The Cloverfield paradox that we deserved.
Uh-oh. Oh
That's
yeah.
what it looks like.
That yeah, I know a lot of people was not impressed with that. So that's yeah.
There's also a serial killer board. So we got
Huh.
serial killers. We got these weird psychological horror things that's coming on. I'm trying to not spoil anything, but it'll be in December, at the very end of December, and it'll be on Sci-Fi, so you don't have to pay for another streaming service, which is the great thing. It'll be on Sci-Fi.
Oh yeah.
But remember, serial killer, space, supernatural.
I got you.
Also, really quick, that was really wonderful because I geeked out with the Boy Meets World 25th anniversary reunion.
Oh yeah.
Everybody looked really great. It made me really sad that Girl Meets World was no longer on. Um, that was really great. They also had a Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles panel. If you like that cartoon series, good for you. That was there. I got one of the interviews a couple months ago with the guy who plays Michelangelo, so you could take a look at that.
Oh
Then
yeah, I remember that.
Netflix and Chills, they showed Sabrina, the chilling adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which is a reboot. It feels like it's a reboot, but they completely changed it from the original Sabrina, which starred Melissa Joan Hart and was very cute and adorable, and you had Salem the talking cat. This version is basically Satan. Satan. It's like watching American Horror Story Junior. It's the light edition. Well, she's about to turn 16. She has to choose whether or not she's gonna be a witch or she's gonna be a human. And
Ah.
she's like, I'm not choosing. You can't do that to me. And it's about all these different things that end up happening, and it's very dark. It's by the people who did Riverdale, so it's really
Oh.
well. It's so good.
Oh yeah,
Like
Riverdale. I'm familiar with that show.
and you know, fingers crossed if we get a crossover.
That's possible. And the actress is the same actress that was in Mad Men, right? The little girl.
Yes, the little girl.
Yeah, she finally grew up.
And it's nothing cute and adorable about this. That I was like, oh, this is cute. I was, and I know it's stupid because it doesn't work in this reboot. I was kind of sad that Salem does not talk, but Salem doesn't need to talk. Like it doesn't make any sense for Salem to talk.
Hmm. Interesting.
Very dark. It is very like very gritty. So,
Yeah, I think that's coming. That's coming to Netflix real
that's
soon.
coming
Right?
Halloween.
Oh, Halloween. Yeah. See, okay. Yeah, I figure it's coming soon. Yeah.
That's Halloween, and it's gonna be really good. I have hope. So if you're not like a Stranger Things fan, go watch Sabrina. Or if you are a Stranger Things fan, go watch Sabrina. Like it's just really great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it. But yes, so that I recommend 1,000%. One of the other things that I was able to do was they had the Batman animated series that's going to be a big DVD release. So I was able to speak to Kevin Conroy, who was really great. Tara Strong, again, who plays every character that's ever been voiced. She's great. She plays Harley Quinn. She plays literally everyone. That interview was like really good as well. I enjoyed it, but Kevin Conroy was like, it's like speaking to a master. He was surprisingly really fun because I just kind of pictured him as being like really serious, but he was a really really fun guy. I really enjoyed speaking with him and just being around his geniusness.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, that
Yeah.
was really fun. So that was all of Friday.
Wow. Yeah. Like I said, yeah, you were very busy. Very, very busy.
Kind of busy. There was also some Riverdale. I can't reveal anything because like people are very, very like sticklers. for that, and the show is very dark and very twisty. Like it was real. I originally wasn't gonna watch Riverdale until I put it on one day because I was just like cleaning around the house and I needed background noise, and the show ended up being amazing and like horrifying and really dark at the same time. But they talked about that was gonna happen during the third season, and I recommend if you're a fan, I am not spoiling anything, but you will enjoy everything that happens. So that was fun as well. Saturday, we're on Saturday. We're almost done. Ba-da-da-da-da. Still with me, Richard?
Oh, I'm still here.
He's like, I'm still alive.
Oh,
I
of
don't know.
course. I'm definitely here.
Saturday was just amazing. The very first thing that I was able to see was called Good Omens. Good Omens is coming to Amazon, and it is based on the book by Neil Gaiman. Got to see Neil again. It will
Ah,
star Martin Sheen. Nope, am I pronouncing the right one? I get my British actors so twisted.
you said
I
Martin
hope
Sheen?
I hope did I say Martin Sheen?
Yeah.
Not Martin Sheen. It's the other actor. Not Martin or Charlie. It's the other Michael Sheen. Sorry.
Okay.
See, you get the Sheens, and I get really but it'll star Michael Sheen, and it will also star David Tennant, Doctor Who. Also, it will star John Hamm.
Oh yeah, John Hamm,
John
Batman.
Hamm. John Hamm, Madman, who is really funny, by the way. He's just naturally funny, where it just doesn't make any sense funny. But Good Omens is, oh, it's literally like watching, it looks like something out of Harry Potter. It is magical. It's about these two best friends. One is a demon, one is an angel, with names I cannot pronounce. And they end up going to Earth and they fall in love with Earth and they stay there many, many centuries. And they kind of form this relationship, this friendship, even though one's a demon and one's an angel. And they really look out for each other. And you see this time period of them like being friends, starting out as like angels and demons and going through the war together and going through all these different Julius Caesar things and these important moments in history. And they really have like this really great bond with each other. What happens is Armageddon is about to happen, and they started living on Earth for for all those centuries, and they've kind of fallen in love with Earth, and they both fallen in love with the people. They've settled into life really comfortably, where they're just happy, and their goal is to stop Armageddon from happening because they love Earth, and it's about all the craziness that happens, and it's based on the book, and it was very difficult to do at first, and they kept was being turned down a lot because it's just one of those books that's just difficult to film.
Hmm.
They was able to do it, and they did it on Amazon. They also Terry Pratchett was there, and it was just the most magical thing that I've ever watched. I loved it. I didn't see all of it, for the record, but I thoroughly loved it with all of my heart, so much. So they have to like stop the end of the world.
You said it's coming to Amazon.
It's coming to Amazon, so get
Man,
your coins up for
it,
Amazon
it,
because
sound, it sounded to me like Amazon getting a lot of these shows.
well they are. Remember, we also have the Jack Ryan thing that they've been doing.
Oh yeah,
That's been
yeah.
really successful. So they're catching up. They won a couple Emmys, so now that means they can attract larger stars and bigger writers. So also they had Marvel into the Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, which was so beautiful. I cried. I'm
Oh
trying
yeah.
not to spoil anything, but it's Spider-Man, and you guys already know it takes place in different time periods, and so you have all these different versions of Spider-Man, including Spider-Ham, the noir Spider-Man. Gwen Stacy is there. Miles Morales, which everyone cheered for, like ridiculous screams for, and it looks like a comic book, and each Spider-Man has his own look and his own feel, and it's just the most beautiful animated movie with the story is just so rich and just really in depth. And you find yourself attached to all these characters. And to just be able to see Miles Morales in his own movie was just phenomenal.
So you saw the movie in its entirety then?
No, not in its entirety.
Okay.
No, in about an hour of it.
Oh, whoa, wow, that's a significant amount of time of the movie.
Around an hour. So it was a good amount of time. And it was so beautiful. It's just, I just can't, I literally, it's the best animated movie of the year. The best movie of the year is The Hate You Give. The best animated movie is Spider-Man.
Yeah, I certainly agree with Hate You Give.
Yes.
We will be talking about that
Yes.
and on a future show. I think that deserves to be a separate conversation.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that later. But yeah, looking forward to Spider-Man movie for sure.
So it was that did Star Trek Discovery, which the new season is going to introduce Captain Picard. I was saying that right, and Spock also will be there. It's one of those shows that's just like ridiculously woke. Like it's very timely. It's very woke. The panel, they was very passionate about the current politics of what was going on, and they wanted to reflect that in their show. So, without spoiling that, we will get kind of like that reflection, and we're going to dive deeper into Spock and Picard and all of the other relationships that's been going around. One of the things I learned was that not Spider-Man, sorry, Star Trek fans are very passionate and they're very protective of the property, almost to the point where they will like scream and yell at you if you don't know many things about it. So make sure you watch Star Trek so you don't offend any Star Trek fans. That's all I can say. I was just in the corner, asking my questions and would get these angry glares from the rest of the people who was press because I didn't ask the questions that they felt was equivalent to their questions because they've been lifelong fans since the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
It was very intimidating. That was a very intimidating situation to be a part of. It was like, good Lord, just pray for me. Like I was like felt like I was gonna be beaten up in the alley.
Oh
But
no.
yeah, yeah. So that was fun. American Dad and Family Guy also very fun. They talked a lot about how the jokes that they had in the past they can no longer do because everything is very PC. So they have to find new ways to be funny and to make certain jokes. And there were certain jokes that they had to cut out that I will not reveal because it's very un PC.
Oh man. Now this I didn't know. I didn't know that they had to start cutting stuff out now.
Yeah, yeah. You can't make, for example, you back in the day, you could make certain jokes that were now is being considered to be very highly sexualized,
Yeah.
sexist, racist, and you
Oh.
can't do that anymore. Even though you
Oh.
should never do that, racism and sexism is nothing to joke about, but they definitely can't do that anymore.
Oh no. Oh no. Not in these particular times. I was gonna say I do know of one joke. Well, one thing they did that they did cut out because I think maybe I told you this story. I didn't really tell it to a lot of people, so this is probably their first time hearing it. I'll try to keep it brief, but I do know that when all that stuff went down with 9/11, before that happened, they actually had a episode about I believe it was the Jew episode, and there was a joke in there about Osama bin Laden, and I remember this because when I was still in college at the time, Seth MacFarlane actually came to the school. Full disclaimer: he actually is a graduate of the same college I went to, but he came to the school to talk about the show, and then he actually showed us the uncensored scene that he couldn't put on the show. And then it just so happens later on that night he decided to go out and party because he was in town with friends in Providence. He decided to go out and party. Okay, fast forward to the next day. he was actually supposed to be on one of those planes that hit the World Trade Center, but he was out partying with friends, so he completely lucked out and missed all of that. So that was pretty crazy to see all that happen. But yeah, I was unaware that they have started cutting stuff out now,
Yeah.
recently. So that's I'm curious to see if that means the show is still going to be funny over the top. So I have to see these new episodes.
Yeah, you can be funny and over the top without, offending everyone.
Oh, definitely. No, they definitely can. Um, I do want to see how it's different though in certain areas, because I know some of them jokes was yeah, very very not stuff you shouldn't have on the show. But we'll see.
Yeah, but they were very passionate about making sure that they didn't offend anyone this time because they can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Um, Also, very weird and strange. The people also the Orville was down there, and the people who does the Orville, they hate Star Trek. So that was a very interesting kind of like battle between them. They feel that the Orville is more Star Trek based than Star Trek Discovery.
Oh yeah.
And as someone who did not really watch the older Star Trek episodes, I was almost, pot almost flew into my head when I tried to show my mother the Orville and was like, look, this is the Orville. She was like, no, that's Star Trek. So maybe they're right with that. Because, there are storylines that are very similar to Star Trek. If you watch the Star Trek episodes, which are on Netflix. After I was told to watch Star Trek and the plot flew over my head, I watched Netflix. So they're very similar. And it's in that same, spirit of the original Star Trek. But the people who do the Orville do not like Star Trek Discovery at all. It was funny. So yeah, that was really interesting. Also, there was a show called Annie and the Apocalypse. Annie and the Apocalypse. It's weird. It's a high school musical that takes place during the apocalypse during Christmas. So everyone's trying to survive, and they're singing and dancing. So I was able to interview the author. There is a movie-based book that was written at the same time of the movie. So you can't exactly call it a tie-in. It's more like an actual companion piece. So that was very fun doing that. So I kind of recommend that. Also, Deadly Class was very interesting. That's with Ellen Page. That is coming. These are all like coming next year, which was like the saddest thing ever because what they showed was pretty phenomenal, and the fact that it got you really excited. Now I don't know if it's gonna be great the entire time, but it's basically based on the story of this guy named Marcus. It originally was a comic book, just so you guys know, but it's based on this guy named Marcus Lopez, and he basically lives on the streets, and these group of people like find him on the street and they enroll him in the school. He thinks it's just a regular school, but it's not. It's a school full of assassins, and it's ran by like this guy, like Master Lin, and it's all of these children of mob bosses and mass murderers, and they're learning kind of like the same to do the same thing as their parents did, which is basically to kill people. So it was weird. Um, it was really, really weird, but it was also really funny. And I felt that it really worked. And it has a lot of like hazing, and it's really sad, but it's also funny. And, it kind of about these wayward kids, some who ended up in foster homes and, was didn't have the best of life. So they all kind of like converged into the school because you kind of, if you used to say, hey, I'm the daughter of, I don't know, John Bob, the serial killer, you're not going to exactly be treated with the highest regard. So they kind of form their own weird family, even though they're all assassins, and it's very violent. It's like massive amount of violence and murder, but it is also really good, and it kind of really works. So I kind of didn't shy away from not liking it. It was very good. So that's one of the shows that I kind of oddly recommend that everyone tune into. That was rather good. Um, lastly, um, that was pretty much that all that happened on Saturday. So we're almost done. We got Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday was also nope that goes into Sunday. Sunday was pretty interesting. It was Gotham. I interviewed the I interviewed the cast of Gotham. Let's just leave it as that.
Oh,
Interviewed the cast of Gotham. It was like the most saddest interview ever because even though they were having fun and they had these like props that they was taking pictures with and it was really great. This show is ending,
yeah. This is the final season, right?
so it was like a very somber interview where everyone's like, yeah, I'm gonna miss it. The guy who plays Harvey was like, I literally don't know what I'm going to do now. I guess I'll have to move out from where I'm living.
Well, I mean, shouldn't he be getting other offers like some of these other people?
Well, remember he was on Vikings and he was on other shows, but also at the same time, it was really brought home like the life of an actor is really random.
Yeah.
Because there will be those time periods where you're going to have like the greatest show ever and it's going to be around for many years, but that show is going to end. And now you have to figure out what to do with your life. And everyone's going to be moving on. And Fox, they were really crappy and they kind of they wanted to restructure their whole lineup to be more sports based and more news based. So the weird thing was that it came down to canceling either Lethal Weapon or Gotham. And during that time, the guy who one of the co-star of Lethal Weapon, he was fired for basically abusing the entire staff. And they had to find another actor to play alongside the one of the Waynes that I don't know because there's 20 of them and I can't remember the name of the Wayne.
Damon.
Damon. Okay, so they had to find a co-star, and like literally the last hour they found Sean William Scott, which meant that they were gonna cancel Gotham because only one could survive, but they decided we're gonna give it one more season to allow them to wrap everything up. And so that's one season that they're gonna have. Um, so it was a very sad thing. The guy who plays Harvey was just very like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And it's really promising. I really do look forward to the guy who plays Penguin. I hope he has a very long and successful career because he's pretty good at what he does. One of the things that they did reveal is that we're going to see Penguin as Penguin this year in the fat suit and the monocle. So we're gonna be Penguin. We're getting Batman. We're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
get
the
actual
Batman.
Batman. We're getting Harley Quinn, and Harley Quinn is gonna be, Joker's woman. There was
And,
a lot
and
of things that we wanted. We're gonna finally get. It just sucks that we took, the very last season, and I kind of wonder if there wasn't canceled, how long we would still have to wait for that. So we're gonna get everything that we want. I will say that they revealed the very last scene will take place 10 years after the events of what's been going on, and during that scene, we're gonna get Batman because he'll age to 10 years where he's Batman. And we kind of started seeing sprinkles of that. And Lucius Fox has been tinkering away and building the utility belt and different, things that's going to go on that utility belt. So
interesting.
that would be really fun and really sad all at the same time. It was the saddest interview ever. But yeah, that was fun. They also had a Doctor Who panel. Remember, we're having the first female Doctor Who, which
Oh
people
yes.
were crazy over. Like, how dare they have a woman
I'm not
who's
sure
a
why.
doctor?
I'm not sure why they go crazy over
Like,
that.
Doctor Who regenerates every cycle to a new body. So there's like 50% women on Earth. Eventually, we're gonna have a female. So people were very angry about that. But I thought it was rather decent. And this is coming from someone who does not like Doctor Who at all. I thought the previous Doctor Who's I just didn't like them. And I actually sat through my very first whole episode, like whole, in one sitting. So I thought it was very decent. Will I continue to watch the show? No, just because I'm not a Doctor Who fan.
Oh, ouch,
No,
ouch.
not just no. It has nothing to do with like, oh, it's bad. I'm just not a Doctor Who fan. There's certain fandoms that's like, oh my god, like I just don't get. And to each their own. I'm very happy that you love Doctor Who. And I will say this, I was very interested in the pilot, and I really liked the pilot of the female Doctor Who. I really much liked her season or her episode that she was in.
Interesting.
But it's just too many shows that's on TV and too many movies out there in the world that I just cannot devote my time to Doctor Who. But for those who like them, yay. Here's the very interesting one here. This was like very interesting. I love there was one where like I literally lost my mind and I was like thanking Black Jesus that he kept me alive so I could experience this moment. I got to interview Neil deGrasse Tyson
Oh yes.
and like cried the whole way. I'm like, oh my God, you're sitting next to me. Oh my God, I can smell you. Oh my
Oh,
God,
whoa,
we're
whoa, whoa,
breathing the same
whoa,
air.
whoa.
Yes. It was a good smell. He smells like intelligence.
That's good.
He smells like smarts and education.
He
And
definitely is intelligent.
it was beyond. And the one thing that I love so much about him is that how incredibly down to earth he is. He's just ridiculously down to earth, and like I failed all sciences, including computer science, but the way how he explains everything, he just makes you understand. And the interview was for Cosmos, which they brought back from the 60s or I don't know 70s 80s, and because of Seth MacFarlane, he brought it back, and he's the host of Cosmos, which explains the universe basically. You really should watch this for Fox, and just sitting with him and talking random things about science. We talked so many random things. One of the topics was about the Donald Trump Space Force. And will that actually work? And he was like, yeah, it could work. So that is a show I strongly recommend that you all watch because it was just really that great. One of the things that I was able to see was Charmed. And I grew up watching the original, and the original was really corny. Like it was not good. No matter what you said, special effects were horrible. The script was like laughable, and it was just really corny. But it was one of those shows that I just watched as a kid, and it's one of those mindless shows. It's just really, really good. The thing is that they rebooted it and they changed something. It's like the spirit of Charmed. There's three Hispanic sisters. Their mom is killed by the spirits and the forces, but beforehand she bound their powers. It's not really focused on in the pilot episode, but it is mentioned. They bound their powers, and there's originally it's just two sisters, and one they found out was like, "Hey, I'm a random sister that you didn't know was your dad's jump off, and it created me." So there's a random sister, and they're all like three sisters, and it's just different personalities clashing with each other. My issue with the show is that it's bad. Like, yes, you can have corny bad, but still be fun. This is just bad, bad. The there's overacting by one of the actors, Melody Diaz, very overacting. Um, the special effects, it's 2018, and we're still doing special effects from the 1970s. I just don't understand. Like, my thing is, when you do a reboot or you want to remake something, the goal that I see in my head is to be something new. You know what I mean? Update the special effects, change around the storyline, make it your own. Just like if, for example, the Archie comics were very corny and cheesy and was definitely not Riverdale. If I was to say to you, Riverdale is based on Archie comics, and you was to go and read the Archie comics, you would say these two are nothing alike. I don't understand how this is possible. If I was to say Josie and the Pussycats is in Riverdale, and you grew up with Josie and the Pussycats, the cartoon that aired on the CW, what was this? The Cartoon Network. They're not in the same spirit, but it's still the same thing. With this, they literally made it with the same corniness as the early 2000s. And for me, it just doesn't work anymore. I'm not a kid. So, as an adult, it was just really bad. Everything was just bad. The special effects was bad. The acting was bad. The plot was really too simple, and everything just felt like it was rushed. It was like, oh, hi, I'm your random sister that you never knew that I existed, and then 10 minutes later, yay, we love you. We have a sister. Like, it's just weird, and I did not like the show at all. Sorry. Stop laughing. It was really bad. It was just bad. So yeah, that was bad. But one of the shows that I did like is called The Passage. It's going to be on Fox. It stars Mark Paul Gosselaar, which was Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
It is a beautiful TV show that is literally like The Walking Dead meets Interview with the Vampire meets You've Stolen a Black Baby. um, what happens is that it takes place in recent times. Um, the government is trying to eradicate all diseases in the world. So anything from AIDS to Ebola to the Zika virus to the flu, they're trying to eliminate it. And they're testing on death row convicts because it's like, oh, these are lives that are not valued anyway because you're on death row. The only problem is that they cure all diseases and they get rid of everything, but they also turn the guys into vampires. Basically, they're like these demon vampires that have to survive on blood, and they're able to transfer memories over to the living and also to each other. The thing is that the government program decides that because of how, when you get older, certain things in your body breaks down just naturally. You don't not have enough chromosomes or certain genes because you're older and you're aging, and certain things die. They need to test on children. So they need to test on foster kids, like basically kids that are not thought of anymore. They're just, thrown away and they live in foster care. So they found this one, which is a girl, this black girl, who's very sassy, by the way. She's lovely. She needs to be in one of those X-Men movies. We'll get to X-Men later on. I'm almost done, I swear. But she is basically in foster care, but she's very aware that something is not right. So they pick her up and they decide to transfer her to the basically the army base so that they can do these testings on her. The guy, Mark Pearl Gosselaar, does not feel comfortable with this because it's a child. And he, in essence, ends up kidnapping her. And they're trying to escape the government so that she's not going to be tested on. And so he's considered a rogue agent. And it's basically about their survival. And also, it goes into the lives of the patients who are now these vampire people, and also the government trying to be sneaky and eradicate these diseases, but they're also like selling to the highest bidders. A lot of shady things that's going on. It's originally based on a trilogy, um, and it is absolutely fantastic. So it's like we have those 24 type elements with just crazy vampire. It's like The Walking Dead for vampires. It was just really good. It's just ridiculously good. So that's one of the shows I recommend. Also, I recommend there is the TV show. I know that there's Legacies, which I don't. If you like Legacies, that means that it's a spinoff of Vampire Diaries and the originals. If you like those two, I recommend that as well. I never watched either one, but from what I've seen with the Legacies, they're very good. So it's basically like Gossip Girl meets vampires. So I recommend that. Also, one of the other shows that really took me by surprise was Roswell, New Mexico. It's a reboot. It's the huge term is going to be reboot. Everything's a reboot, but it's a reboot of the original Roswell. This one is very interesting. What they did is it's about this girl who is an illegal. Her parents are illegal Mexicans, and it's basically Trump's America, where they're taking away, deporting the illegals, and also in that same realm they live. In Roswell is where that whole spaceship crashed with the aliens and that whole thing. They're also real aliens that are in the world that can't reveal their identity because they'll be treated with basically no rights. So it's this weird metaphor and this thing of like, humans are being treated like aliens and aliens are being treated like actual aliens. So the aliens and the either illegals, human aliens, have to like form this bond together in order to survive. And it starts off with this girl who returns home after a very long time period, and she, has this school reunion and she's trying to take care of her family, which is her father who lives in Mexico. Her mother died very mysteriously, and she left behind one of her best friends who is kind of an unspoken romance that they had with each other, and they really care deeply for each other. The only thing is that the guy is an alien, an actual alien, like from outer space. So her family's dealing with the illegal alien part, and he's like dealing with the alien part, and they kind of reconnect their lives. And during a random shooting, because the restaurant is owned by illegal Mexicans, she gets shot and she essentially dies, but the guy who is an alien saves her, and as a result she ends up absorbing some of his powers, and she starts freaking out because she's like, what the heck did you do to me? And she ends up finding out that he is an alien. The thing is that there's two other ones who they were the guy has a brother and sister who were both aliens as well, and they don't feel comfortable with her knowing their secret.
Hmm.
So it's this weird story but it's really really good, and it's very smart with what they did, and that'll be on the CW, and I strongly recommend that one because that was great. So we're technically done with Sunday, but I have two more things to say.
Okay.
Um, we did a Fox showcase where I got to see Dark Phoenix and Alita Battle Angel. I am
Yeah.
trying to be as spoiler free as humanly possible, and I am trying my best to be nice with my comments. Dark Phoenix is absolute trash. It's just bad. It's the part where it's so bad where it's like, why are you doing this? If you ever watched X-Men The Last Stand, and that was basically with Jean Grey going all Dark Phoenix on everyone and killing Scott. Sorry for the 10-year-old spoiler. But remember that episode with that movie when she went out and she's like, no, I'm gonna go and save the space the ship from that wave, and she went out in the ocean.
Yeah.
This was basically the junior version of everything. So if you already seen that movie, I just recommend just don't watching Dark Phoenix because it was bad. What I can say is this: the first class are now, I would guess I wouldn't say superheroes for hire, but they work alongside the government, and it's really corny. And it starts off with there is a space crash, and they have to go and save the astronauts. So they have this little space mission, and through this very great sequence, because the X-Men movies are known for their opening sequences, which are really nice. And this was pretty decent, but not as good as the one that they did with who was it, Nightwalker? But so they go up in space and they have to rescue these astronauts. And in the mix of them rescuing everything, Jean Grey is not fully in control of her powers, even though she's considered one of the most um, powerful of the X-Men. So she's not in control of her powers fully, but they decide to use her anyway to save these astronauts. And everything is about to blow up, so she has to stop it, the spaceship, from going awry. And she ends up doing that, but at the same time, there's these solar flares that ends up hitting her in the middle of the space mission, and she loses all control of her abilities, and that's when the Phoenix arrives basically. And in the movie, there's opposite sides that feel that they want to save Jean Grey, and others feel that they should just kill her. And there is this battle between Xavier and Magneto, because they always on opposite sides of everything, where they feel like they both have to protect her, but either through killing her or saving her from her powers. And what I can say is that it looks as bad as the trailer. So if you was someone who was like, oh, I watched the trailer and this looks like poop, I don't want to spend my, I don't know, $10 down here it's like $20 to see this movie, I will not blame you for not seeing this movie at all. um it's not good is what I will say. So yeah, that's all I can say without spoiling anything. um Alita Battle Angel, this is the one that is James Cameron's and Robert Rodriguez. It was originally supposed to be James Cameron directing everything, but he ended up writing it. He wrote like 600 pages, like of this pure, like everything. And he took notes and, he had a whole draft and an outline for everything, but he couldn't do it because Avatar happened. And then James Cameron was like, no, I'm going to just screw everything that I ever wanted to do and just focus on Avatar for the next 25 years. Cause that's how long we'll wait for the next Avatar movie. Remember, there's 3 of them so far. No, it's 4 of them so far. So 24 times 4, that's 100, if I did my math right. So for the next 100 years, James Cameron is going to just focus on Avatar. So as a result, he gave it to Robert Rodriguez. So he was like, here's what I have. Here's all of my 600 pages of notes. Figure it out and do something with it. And so he did it, but he did it in the spirit of James Cameron. Visually, it is very beautiful. It's about this girl named Alita. She looks like a doll. She's a cyborg. She's very small. And she discovers that she is something more. She's not just a cyborg, but she's something more without spoiling anything. She's something more, and she has to, go about her destiny, what she is meant to be. It's very beautiful. I saw it in 3D. It's very colorful. It's like an Avatar movie where it's very beautiful. The only thing is it's like an Avatar movie. So it's very generic when it comes to storyline. There's nothing original about this movie at all. Absolutely nothing. But it's very pretty to watch. But if you're looking for something that's like, I want something rich in story and unique and creative, this is not it, aside from the visuals. It is visually like, yay! Just like Avatar was visually, yay! But at the end of the day, Avatar was Fern Gully. And at the end of the day, Alita is every other movie that we've seen. So that was really disappointing. But to meet Robert Rodriguez and to interview him was wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's good. He's a good director.
The director. He was direct, and the cast was like really into it, and they was being really positive about it. And I wanted to like this movie just because of how great the cast was. But at the end of the day, it's Avatar. It's forgettable. It's Fern Gully. And that's it. So it was definitely captured the spirit of James Cameron. It just wasn't unique at all. Sorry. Sorry if I offended any James Cameron. I love Titanic.
No, I don't know people gonna be offended. They probably have seen these movies, and then they saw Avatar, and then they forgot Avatar existed since it's been so long since we've seen the next entry in the series. So they probably won't be offended.
The whole full blown war world, and we'll still not have a next Avatar movie. And the apocalypse would have came, and we're still not getting Armageddon. We're still not seeing the movie. So yeah, so that was basically everything. So that was fun. There's other stuff. I saw First Man. That sucked.
Oh, whoa, uh-oh.
Beautiful. Very beautiful movie, but you sucked. I almost went to sleep. Like I was at the point where, in the point when you go to sleep, but you don't know you asleep, so you think you fully awake.
Oh
for
yeah.
everything. And then by the time I was done, they went up to the moon. Like I remember them going to the moon, and I was waiting them to come back to Earth, and they was already at home eating dinner. The movie was horribly boring. It was boring, but it was visually very beautiful.
Well,
And
well, we shall see how that movie does at the box office this weekend.
good luck to you. If you face and you love movies where they are very quiet and they just do a lot of staring and there's a lot of internal things going on, but there's no words. And when there is words, it's repetition. I hope you love this movie, but it's very beautiful. I will say that. Very pretty.
That's good.
Yeah, that was like my whole everything from Comic Con, which is a lot.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, definitely covered a lot, several
Yes.
things. Well,
Yes.
yeah, well, I mean, like I said, thank you for letting us know about the entire experience. I'm pretty sure that people may have some questions, or they'll definitely leave their comments um, on this particular video, and we definitely will be having quite a bit of more recap shows and discussions coming. You know, there's quite a bit of things that we cannot talk about that we have seen, but we are going to have a show recap on that as well as several other things. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel because there will be some shows coming. I want to say within the next week and a half, starting within the next week and a half. So stay tuned.
Yay.
But yes, thank you all for listening. Dana, do you have any shout outs that you would like to give?
Shout outs for Comic Con for not banning me. And also, shout out to the guy who's the security guy who stole my charger. I hope your phone is at 100%. Trash. You are trash, my brother.
Uh-oh. We'll see. Hopefully it is. But yes. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you all later.
Yay.